Alright. Wow, that's not nice. That wasn't nice. Oh well. I do have spirit here in the AHGL. Welcome to the After Hours Gaming League regular season match 3 between Google Cardboard and Crowdtap. We're going to start off on Overgrowth LE. We have a TVZ here between our blue Terran player, RiceKrispies, playing for Google Cardboard, against the red Zerg, Heisenzerg, playing for Crowdtap. This is the first game of the series. The record is currently 0-0, and you're underway. For those of you who have not followed thus far, this is a best-of-5 format. The maps are all predetermined, and the players for the first 4 games are determined in advance, but should it go to a 5th game, both teams can choose any player on the team to play that out. We see a standard depot going down at the wall, and an early SCV scout for the turn. But that's fine because we have an early drone scout here for the Zerg as well. And it looks like they're going to cross paths right here. Oh no, they're going to pass each other. Neither knows the other exists, although the Overlord now knows the SCV exists. 3 drones going up, so no early pool here for our Zerg. You should see that barracks start for the Terran nice and early here, and he's going to have to pull some support. This drone is going to give him a bad day. Oh, we actually have an eBay block going down with this early SCV. So the Zerg's going to have a bad day too. This SCV needs to run. It's 1 hit from being taken out. And our turn player actually starts barracks. He's been really deploying these barracks for this eBay. But as our Zerg player was attempting to go hatch first here, this eBay is really going to pay off. Does not get the SCV. Drone does have to run. Oh, if it's tail between its legs. And that spawn, we have the spawning pool going down, and it looks like the Zerg is going to completely circumvent this eBay by taking the far 3rd base. We'll see if our Terran player chooses to exploit that. He's late on the gas though, so he may not be able to. This base is extremely exposed. He may try to punish this with a bunker. He may instead go for a factory and just try to harass it with Hellions, but currently his SCV is going to get scouted, so I'm not concerned with the bunker. That SCV will have to run. Marine building, Overlord has to run. This Overlord, yeah, I think it'll get to the high ground. That Marine will not be able to kill it. Second barracks, still no gases for our turret. SCV running mode. Engineering by sitting here, not cancelled. Gas up for our Zerg. We will be able to start speed a little bit here. Overlord does make it safe into the high ground. He will not get picked off anytime soon. More barracks going down for our Terran. No gas, no second command center. Alright, gas is going down now, but quite late. Overlord getting harassed here, but I think it too will just barely manage to escape. Although with 2 Marines, if he starts stuff these, he might actually get it. There's no Marines in the main to take care of it. There is one now, actually. He may actually get this Overlord. Zergling's wailing around the engineering bay. We'll see if he gets the cancel. And no cancel. He does lose the 125 minerals. And he doesn't get the Overlord either. It just barely escapes. Just a few shots away from dying. So that's quite unfortunate for our Terran player here. He is starting up that second command center now, which does feel a little late, given that our Zerg has not gotten aggressive at all, and is currently taking its 3rd hatchery. These 3 barracks do feel quite unsufficient. Terran player may suffer for that. Speed about 20 seconds away from finishing here. Add-ons going down. 1 reactor, 1 tech lab, and it looks like we're going to start another one. Zerglings may try to run in, but it's debatable whether they will get past this many Marines. Most likely not. Our Zerg poked up the ramp, sees the add-ons, and he's content with that knowledge. Baneling Nest going down in the main. And with soon to be 3 hatcheries of production, we may see a Ling flood here. He may try to punish the Terran for his cheap engineering bay. With only Marines building here in the main, he is going to get that Overlord finally. Very fast. The Overlord sees the command center almost finishing, so he's quite happy with that. Poked up with the loses another Overlord. This one seems to be a mistake. I think he's seen that one didn't give him any new information that the Zerglings hadn't already seen. So he does start up 3 more Overlords now. Continuing to build drones, and the scan goes down in the main to see that Baneling nest. So he does know it's there. May build a bunker. May require some sort of reaction to a potential Baneling bus. But that's not what our Zerg is going for. He's droning up heavily. Actually getting pretty far ahead in economy now on his 3 bases. 3rd queen about to pop. Lair starting as well. So it looks like this Baneling nest is only going to be a scan scare and nothing else. There's no Vings flooding. No Banelings being built. Just that scare. And with 3 hatcheries of production, he can afford to drone up versus this 1 base Terran as much as he wants. Terran will move out now and take out these Zerglings and secure his natural. Overlord spreading all over the map for our Zerg here. Terran may decide to push out, but our Zerg is already flooding Zerglings in anticipation of that. 26 on the way. Which it's not quite enough to handle this, but it's enough to delay it and get time for a second wave. Stim pack nearing completion. +1 also on the way. The Terran is going to push out a couple Marauders, a bunch of Marines. Zerg does have a nice Ling force here. Not quite enough to handle this just yet, but he can afford to make more. With this army pushing out, he probably should. 8 more Zerglings on the way. Spire and centrifugal hooks also on the way here. Terran securing these watchtowers, pushing around with his bio. He needs to keep his bio together. He can't afford to have it picked off. And that's what's going to happen here. He's got part of the army surrounded, picked off, with the rest of the army not there. Loses 4 Marines, a Marauder, a 5th Marine. The rest of the army is just moving forward, but with more Lings flooding out, this army is dead. It's going to try to do some damage here, but the Ling surround is going to... He backs up, just trying to maximize damage here, but not enough. He doesn't get into the corner. Everything here is going to get taken out. And with that, he really needs to finish this wall, because the counterattack is imminent, and our Terran player is now in a very, very poor position. Very strong macro coming from the Zerg. Centrifugal hooks almost done. Spire almost done. Not a whole lot of gas, so he won't be able to flood Mutalisks, but he will be able to make some. And with the Terran player only just now starting a single Viking, the drop tactical isn't there. He does have a tank and a bunker, so these Lings are not going to be able to do much. He does lose a bunch of Lings there. He may wait for the Banelings. He may try to bust here. Second tank on the way, more bio on the way, while getting repaired. Does not morph in Banelings though, instead makes a bunch of drones. Flyer attacks at the Spire. So he will just be content to sit here, but for our Zerg player, that's quite fine. He's sitting on a very healthy economic lead, a supply lead, and an army lead, starting all of the upgrades now. Poking forward with a Zergling, he may be anticipating Widow Mines, but there are no Widow Mines to anticipate for him, unfortunately. 3 Mutalisks starting, +1 melee, +1 carapace, Overlord speed, and Burrow, all at once. Zerg getting all the upgrades. Overlord taken out here to free up that 3rd Viking prowling around. This Viking, though, is not long for this role. He may get a 2nd Overlord if he's lucky, but the Mutalisks will be out soon. Overseers here. So it looks like Heisenzerg is on a bit of autopilot, expecting those Widow Mines, but doesn't seem to realize that its opponent is going to Marine tank. Another scan goes down the main, sees all of this, sees the wiggling Spire. So we may see him start turrets, and he does. He does start turrets in the main. Viking picking off... Viking actually doing a lot of work here. He's going to pick off maybe 2 Overlords. Zergling's running over, but not the Mutalisk. He does run those overloads away. That pneumatized carapace will actually save most of these overloads. But here come the mutas. There's 8 of them out so far. They appear to be rallied with these Zerglings and Banding, which is a small mistake. This Viking is just got free reign here to keep attacking these overlords. Mutalisks are going to run in, but there's already 2 turrets up. So you may not be able to do a lot. Mutalisks aren't quite, even with plus 1 fire, repaired enough to handle the small number of Mutalisks. More turrets over here. So these mutas are being zoned quite effectively. They're picking off at a barrack, but they're taking damage. He loses a second Mutalisk to turrets. So not being very effective with these at all. Marines push in, and he doesn't run quite away. He runs barely away in time. He does manage to save those Mutalisks. But overall, the Terran player's defense is quite good here. He is starting to bank a lot of money that he is spending now. But again, despite the defense, 2 bases is not enough against a now 4-base Zerg economy. More Zerglings, more Banelings on the way. Terran simply does not have the ability to push out. The moment he pushes out, he's going to get surrounded and destroyed by this overwhelming Zerg force. Muta's going to poke here, make sure there is no third. Lings and Banelings waiting out in the middle. Creep spread for this stage of the game is not great, but it's enough. He's going to have good notice if any of his bases do get advanced. Mutalisk pushing in here. Looks like they took out maybe 1 turret. They're going to take out a 2nd turret. Slaughtering a bunch of SCVs. Marines will push that away. Terran player may have to restart some turrets. 6 more Mutalisks on the way. It's going to bring the count up to 20. Which is getting quite difficult for our Terran player to deal with now. And he's going to push out. We'll see if he's able to handle this. He's going to walk right into the spread out Baneling force. He's going to run in right now. Tanks are not siege. Banelings maul over everything. Tanks get cleaned up. That was it. Just Thor is going to get taken out. Mutalisks will run in once the BTR is gone. SCV's running up, but there's not enough. Mutalisks are going to zone on this bunker. Maybe. No, they're going to retreat. Terran is just barely surviving now. This Viking, he's got 3 kills. It's still hanging around. Even then, just to survive with the flock of Mutalisks right there. That could have killed him. Looks like maybe they'll come back. No, this Viking is just having a heyday. Banelings run in. They're going to bust down the wall. Marines getting taken out. Marines running in. It's too much. Our Terran player calls the GG right as this mineral line gets exploded with Deadwing acid. Going into Game 2. The record is currently 0-1 in favor of Crowdtap versus Google Cardboard here. We are going to do a PvZ here on Expedition Lost between our red Protoss berkozoid playing for Crowdtap versus the blue Zerg Horribler playing for Google Cardboard. And we are off. We are here on Expedition Lost. It is it's actually a fair, kind of a small 1v1 map. You do have this very nice natural wall for the Protoss, and for the Zerg as well, but more so versus Hellions than versus Protoss units. There are actually destructible rocks or ice here that leads up into the main base. So Zerg is definitely a fan of that. We may see that abused later in the game. But for now, we'll have a pylon going down at the wall. Regular Overlord here, so no early pool here for our Zerg. And an early pro will go out to scout. And here on 9, he's throwing down a gateway on 9 supply, which is extremely early. It's something that you would do versus a Protoss. You might do it if you were proxying a Terran, but versus Zerg, I'm not sure what this is for. You would do it this early if you were proxying, but he's done. So we may be seeing a very fast 4-gate here out of berkozoid. So Harbor's going to have to watch out for that. He is going pool first, So he does have that going for him. He doesn't want to try to contest this probe for the hatch first. Gas going down now on 13 for Protoss, and he's going to be able to start the Cyber Core really early on. Looks like he will be going for that, currently zapping away at this point. He's banking up some minerals though. If he's looking to rush here, every second he delays is costing him. He does throw it now. He may have been trying to figure out the right positioning for it, which again, for an early gateway, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Throwing probes down onto the gas now, throwing more onto minerals. No push out here for a proxy pylon. Not sure what happened to his probe. It may have been killed. I'm not positive. I don't see it. Cybercore will be finishing soon. He'll have just enough gas for warp gate when that happens. Overlord poking here sees no natural, no forge or anything at the natural. Warp gate now started. It looks like our Protoss may just be going for a one base opener here. But again, with that early gateway, his probe count is very low. Your probe count should definitely be higher at this stage of the game. He is starting another gateway, so he may actually be going for this 4-gate after all. But he's getting a bit too much gas for it, and he's got no probes out on the map, which means with speed already started and 6 Zerglings on the way, getting down a proxy pylon for gateway aggression is going to be extremely difficult here for a Protoss. He does start that mothership core, but there are no plans, it looks like, to take a natural anytime soon for a Protoss. His probe count is again lower than it should be for this stage of the game. Just now, again, only 13 on minerals. Double injects going down for our Zerg. Plenty of Zerglings being built. He's quite scared at the lack of natural. He is expecting Protoss aggression. Third gateway, it's going to be one base aggression here from the Protoss, but he needs to. His window is gone if he had one at all. With all of these Zerglings pushing out and Zergling speed about to finish, he's not going to be able to get a probe out on the map. It's just not going to happen. Our Zerg can actually afford to drone now, and he's doing that. He's building 4 of them. Speedings will run in here, and again, there's no base. He may just start scouting around the map. Does run Zerglings in. Finds a hole! The Zealots were not on hold position, so Zerglings get into the main, and the probes are about to get destroyed here. Zealots running to defend, but they're going to get surrounded. This is more than enough Zerglings to take them out. Energy for Photon Overcharge finishing just now. He may throw that down. Probes are not mining. Warp Gate did just finish. So much mining time being lost. They're going to lose the Stalker. Probes are going to have to run back. The Zerglings will have to run now from the Overcharge. They're going to chase after these probes, but they're not even going to get the Zealot. The Overcharge is enough to rebuff all of those Zerglings. Tons of damage done. Back to only 12 drones on minerals and 1 probe in each gas. Warp Gate is finished, but he's got 3 Zealots, and he's never going to get a pylon up on the other side of the map at the time. Excellent play here from Aurisor, getting into the main, doing that economic damage, trimming the army count. He may have, this actually is probably enough Zerglings to take out these 3 Zealots, even with Mothership Core support. So he's going to continue to drone up, he's going to get his lair, he's going to push up the ramp here, and I think he's just going to take this engagement. Not quite enough, does pull back. Not quite enough Zerglings to handle those 3 Zealots. But he does have 7 roaches on the way. And the Evo chamber is done, so you can be starting those upgrades any moment now. Protoss is in an extremely difficult position. He is warping in more and more Zealots, but that's not going to work because the roaches are on the way. He is defended against Zerglings, but not roaches. There's no Robo here, there's no Stargate. He is queuing up probes, trying to get his economy back on track, but he's so far behind. He's 16 probes on 1 base versus a Zerg who's got 30 drones uncounted. He is starting that +1 missiles, and he may start to move out as he researches glial reconstitution here. Still has this Overlord, so he knows that the natural has still not been taken. Probe will move out here, but it'll have to get very lucky to get a pylon down without these speedlings picking it off. And it looks like they're just... The speedlings do see it, and yeah, 3 do run over. Auto home in on that probe. The probe will die. Does not get a pylon down. More importantly, he does not see these 7 roaches. 3 more building on the way. Could send in an Overlord for high ground vision. May be very useful against these zealots. Leo reconstitution is started. Aurisor looking like he could take the game right here. Probe moving out. He is going to try to claim that Nexus, but it is way too late. His economy is so far behind. His supply is nearly doubled by his opponent's supply. More Zerglings flooding out. Lots of Zerglings flooding out. He should rally these over. There's quite a lot of Zealots here, so he actually will have to micro effectively if he wants to take this battle. But he's got more than enough units to do it. Here come the Zerglings. Nexus is no way going to finish in time for that overcharge to be thrown down. Here they come. +1 missiles just about to finish. He may be waiting for that. Needs 20 more seconds. But he's not. He's going to go in. Zerglings will buffer the initial damage, and with all of these roaches, he's losing a lot of Zerglings, but he's going to take out all of the Zerglings anyway. Nexus is forcing a cancel. He knows he can't hold it. He's going to have to start a wall. He needs to start a wall if he wants to survive, but he's not going to get it down. The Zerglings are going to run in, go straight for that mirror line. Roaches are just tanky zealots. Photon Overcharge does go down, and it aggroes all the Zerglings, which is probably the biggest thing. But it looks like the Nexus is going to die anyway. Roach is now wailing on it. The DPS is too much. The Nexus will fall, and there's not enough minerals to start a new Nexus, so our Protoss is dead. There is 0 chance of recovery now in this game. Warps in a Stalker. The Zerglings wail that down, take out the shields. GG gets called. Space is ravaged by the Zerg. Entering Game 3 between Crowdtap and Google Cardboard, we're going to have a TVZ on Deadwing LE here between Durin, the blue Terran, playing for Google Cardboard, and Aurisor. I think that's how you say it, Aurisor. Aurisor, maybe. One of those. The red Zerg playing for Crowdtap. The score is 1-1, so this is the swing match. Whoever wins this one will be playing for match point in the 4th game. Deadwing LE is apparently a 4-player map, and it is not cross spawns. We actually have vertical spawns here, which I believe favors the Terran dramatically. It shortens the drop distance, it shortens the Hellion distance, it shortens the Widowmine distance for ground-based pushes as well. So we'll see if he decides to play aggressively and take advantage of that, or if he's just going to play defensively here and force the Zerg to stretch out to the left to increase the strength of his economy. One could argue that horizontal spawns are actually even worse for the Zerg in this scenario, as you can the natural third here is easily sieged up from the Terran's own natural third. So vertical spawns probably better than horizontal spawns for our Zerg here, but none of those as good as cross spawns. Supply depot going down at standard time, and he's going to go gas before racks here. Starts the gas probably a little late by using that SCV. So it looks like we're going to see an early factory from our Terran player here. He may, and that can lead into a number of possibilities, which are going to be scouted actually by this drone. Oh no, the drone is going the wrong way. He's not going to scout anything for quite some time, unfortunately. Does throw down that spawning pole, which against an early gas opening is ideal. Early spawning pole means earlier speed, means you can push away the Hellions faster. We'll see if that's what our Terran player does go for here. He is opening up with later barracks. Only 2 SCVs on gas, so he doesn't want that much gas. We'll see what he does. Well, that actually there's not a lot of gas at all. He's not going to be able to start a factory on this barracks this time. So he may just go for the Reaper, actually, and just doing a different build to get it done. We should see a hatchery going down for our Zerg any second now. goes playing against neutral. SCV, nope, does not go out. Starts to go out, but must have probably been just misrallied due to the wall being a common Terran wall problem. Extractor going down, somewhat late for the turn, starting his queen now. Second gas going down. Reaper about to finish, and he's got it rallied in the right direction. Very lucky Terran here. Drone is going to scout the second row base, so now knows where his Terran opponent is, but doesn't know what he's doing. This factory, I think, is actually far enough from the ramp so that a Zergling or drone poking out here cannot see it, which is quite fortunate. Something you always want to take into account when you're building a Terran. You want to keep your build. You want your decisions to be scouted as late as possible. Keep your opponent in the dark. Hide them from overlords. Hide them from units poking up the ramp. Reaper goes in, and there's a queen out, so it's not going to be able to do a lot. Does poke a drone. Roach Warren down. He needs to scout that. He does. If you saw those blue outline there, you know that he clicked on it and knew exactly what it is. So he is going to be prepared for that. Zergling's running around here. No queen of the natural, so the natural is the Reaper's domain to do in what he can do what he wants there for quite a while. No speed started, actually. This gas is being banked up pretty heavily. Reaper is going to sit at the watchtower. With micro, he can take out these 4 lanes quite easily. He should poke back in so that he can know whether or not the Zerg is going to make good on his roach threat. But he is not for now. He's building 3 drones. Heavily supply blocked here. He's going to need to start those overlords soon. Lets the spine finish too, even though it was just a single Reaper for the moment. Meanwhile, in the Terran's base, we have a command center going down, second factory, second barracks. So we're going to see a mech-heavy composition here. We actually have a tank already building. Reaper does return home, actually, leaves the watchtower alone, which may be a mistake. Zerg player is building several roaches. Not doing anything else with his gas. Has a bit too much gas for a Zerg at this stage of the game. Really wants to be droning up. Has a second gas started and is natural already, actually. He may attempt to saturate that. Drone gets hit by a siege tank shot. He's going to run in again and he's going to die, quite unfortunately. He may not have been paying attention when he first got shot and wanted to investigate what. But the tank does finish him off. Lair on the way. Drone count for our Zerg is fairly low for this point in the game. This orbital can float out at any point. We have double tank production, engineering they got now, stim research on the way, getting close to halfway done. Again, no speed for our Zerg, very low drone count. So when the Terran does decide to push out, he's going to take a beating. He does have roaches, but our Terran player has tanks. So he's actually going to push, he's actually going to handle these roaches probably very, very well. Does poke forward, takes out these Zerglings. He should retreat. His army is not large. If Speedlings were out, he would be dead. He will be able to run from these roaches, but he should... these very, very dangerous moves here from the Terran. Lair's about to finish, which means Glial Reconstitution is going to be started any second. Gas of the natural not quite being used. Drone count still very low. Terran is actually pushing forward, and I don't like this decision. He doesn't have a lot of units at all. He does have tanks, which are the counter to roaches, but he's only got 2, and the bio buffer is very small. Stim is just finishing, but there's no combat shield, no medivacs. Zerg could just overrun him here and just push down and kill him. Or if he just moves in at the right time and the tanks are not sieged. He is leapfrogging here, but the gap is wide. He has only 1 tank sieged at the moment. Terran will have to push very carefully if he wants to do any damage. Zerg has a fairly large army. We'll get an Overlord here. He should retreat from these roaches, loses the Reaper, gets a few pot shots on the roaches. And with 3 tanks now, this army is actually looking a bit scarier than before. 2 more tanks on the way. Continuing to rally Marines across the map. A 4th tank here. With this roach count, 4 tanks is quite a bit. Zerg was thinking about breaking down these rocks for a moment here. maybe trying to get a flank on the army. But without speedlings to bolster that up, it's unlikely. Spire goes down. No Gliober Constitution. No upgrades at these Eagle Chambers. Terran army just... He's not going to have time to do anything with that Spire. Marines poke to get vision of the Spine Crawler. They are going to take it out. It takes a little poke for it, but... 2 more tanks here. Zerg will push in. Is it enough? Oh no. He doesn't commit. Loses a bunch more army. Tanks are now approaching on the hatchery. He's within range of the Nationals. Queen's gonna get taken out. Tanks in the back leapfrogging forward. It's looking very dire for Aurisor. He waited too long. Marines are gonna poke forward. He cannot engage with the Roaches. He's going to have to wait for Mutalisks. But he's got no gas. He can't build any Mutalisks. Natural gets taken out. More tanks arrive. Just a super heavy tank player, which against many things would not work, but against this early commitment to rotate, it winds up working really well. Lack of high ground vision is going to make it difficult to push up this ramp. We'll have to get this tank closer. Does leapfrog 4 more in. We're going to get nice and close here, and he's going to be able to start pushing up this ramp now. Zerglings get vaporized. Marines poke for the high ground vision, and the Roaches are getting torn apart. The Marines are just there to buffer. And they are buffering quite well. 7 tanks. Pitiful. The Marines almost take it out on their own at this point. Lots of money sitting in the bank here for artillery, but it doesn't matter. Only 1 Mutalisk out. More than enough Marines to handle the 1 Muta. It barely gets taken out by them right there as well. It does get taken out. Marines do need to stay back. You cannot afford to lose all of them, or the single Mutalisk will slowly start to poke away at his vanguard. He's actually going to lose a lot of the Marines against the Spine. Not very judicious with the push at all. Roach and Queen combo will be enough to take out the rest of them. And now the tanks are isolated. He does have 7 of them, but none of them shoot up. But he does have 4 more Marines around here, and they will pick up that Marines, but he will save it. More Marines and tanks on the way. Gonna push in here, not enough gas to keep fueling the air. More Spines building, but with all these tanks now, the Spines are going to be useless. They will only revive. More Zerglings and Roaches moving in, but they get immediately vaporized. Just enough Marines to handle the Muta pressure here. 3 Stimmed ones, looks like they'll be just enough to take out the Marines, and they are. Tanks in range of the lair, and with the lair going down, Zerg has no hook left. He's barely, he might have enough money for another hatchery, but no, he spends it on oh, he has a 3rd. He does have a 3rd, but the drones are not going to escape. The tanks will take every single one out. Mutalisk in here is going to get taken out. Does not rally it away. 5 drones, 2 army supply for Aurisor in the form of this building clean. 4 in production backup zone. Very healthy 2-base economy for Aurisor. All these buildings are going to get taken out, and it's just a matter of time until he finds this 3rd base and destroys it. Takes out the Roach Warren. No unit production facilities remain. SCV saturation not great in the bases, but it doesn't matter. These are players running on fumes. Little mines move in. They will take out this Overgrowth before the building. GG gets called, and that is the end of Game 3. Alright. Let's do that again. So we're entering Game 4 now between Google Cardboard and Crowdtap. It's going to be a TVP on the actual Catallena ladder edition this time. So this is going to be, if you're watching this on YouTube, then unfortunately it's going to be edited out. But in the previous one, I didn't pick the Blizzard map. I picked some random custom somebody made. And it had one player starting with 2 bases and having Widow Mines out already versus his opponent. So we We restarted that one. Alright, so we have DataPlusPlus here, the blue Terran, playing for Google Cardboard, spawning in the northern position. We have iureee, the blue Protoss. We have iureee, the red Terran, spawning for Crowdtap here, in the southern position. And then we're going to have a regular game starting here now. No random Widow Mines. No Widow Mines spawning in Protoss bases at the start of the game. Just straight up, vanilla, StarCraft 2, 1v1. Barracks going down for our Terran player at a standard 12 supply, getting the gas as well. So this is the standard optimized Reaper first opening here from our Terran player. You'll be sending that SCV to scout it as well. A very common practice. As your opponent can spawn in 2 locations, you can have the SCV checking one of them when the Reaper spawns. Looks like he's just barely going to. I'm not sure if he saw that or not. He may have seen that. If he had seen the probe, would have been very lucky. He would have known right away that his opponent was here. But he's going to have to send the SCV the whole way to check. So what you do in this opening is you send your Reaper one direction and your SCV in the other one, and then what happens is that the Reaper comes out right before the SCV arrives. Usually, this is actually very early SCV. The technique I'm describing works if you send the SCV after the barracks finishes, not before. But he will know where his opponent is now. This probe will run. It will get out of vision well before the Reaper completes, and so it will probably be a waste of the Terran player's time to try to hunt down that probe. If he encounters it in passing, great. If not, that's how the cookie crumbles. Cybernetics Core finishing for a Protoss, and he is going to try to throw down this Nexus. Reaper is too far out, so he will not be able to delay the Nexus. Probe will get back into the base. Well, we need some units. There's no... Alright, Stalker is on the way, but there's no Mothership Core on the way, which means this Reaper is going to have a short time to go to town. It does waste a few seconds of it there. Precious seconds. Stalker's almost done. Probes go for the surround. Almost get it. Reaper will go here. It looks like it's going to get a probe. It does get one. May get a second one. Stalker is just about to finish it, though. Does get the second probe, so less than ideal opening here for our Protoss player. Should try to micro those back some more, but the Stalker will chase that away. Command Center going down for him as well. Both players expanding at roughly the same time. So no real divergence just yet. Factory going down for our Terran player. Reactor Barracks only making 1 Marine at a time, unfortunately. But that will be enough. He will be able to get his bunker out in time in the event of that Stalker going for a counterattack, which it is not. So he will be extra safe. Lots of Chrono going down on Workgate here for our Protoss, but no extra gateways. So this Chrono may have been better spent on his probes at that time. Probe does poke the natural, and while he does not know for sure whether a command center exists, it is strongly implied by the presence of that bunker. Reaper goes in, may go for another kill, but with a Mothership Core and a Stalker, he's going to be lucky to get out alive. Does do that. Does not go into the red. But he will not be poking in without healing some more. Pro production going at both bases now. Robo going down. Orville starting at the second base for our turn. And the starport goes down as well. Widow Mines being produced. Rallied straight to the starport, so we know exactly what this Terran player is doing. He is going to be going for a relatively early Widow Mine drop here. Our Protoss player does have his Robo on the way, though, and additional gateways. So he will be able to get that observer out in very good time. He start a second Widow Mine. Does not. Goes for a Tech Lab, actually. And he's going to burrow... Actually, so he's not going for a Widow Mine drop. He's going to burrow the Widow Mine in his base. So it seems he is blindly anticipating Oracle. That is what you get this defensive Widow Mine for. But unfortunately for him, our Protoss does not even have a Stargate. So that Widow Mine would better be used. Meta backpack finish. Factory makes a Tech Lab for a barracks, which now can be built directly on it. Third barrack building as well. Reaper chilling here at full health. Probe's mining away the natural. Terran player is pretty close in economy. He's behind a few workers, but Mule's more than make that up. Observer going out now for the Protoss. And a second Observer going. So he is going to want to be very defensive against potential incoming drops. 8 Marines into a medevac, and the heat is on. Another tech lab gets started, and it looks like, is this going to be a use for a barracks as well? He may lift the barracks straight onto this. So a lot of... oh, he's got that landed off. It's not going to use it. He needs to put a 1 hex down. There he goes. Reactor starting on the factory. Observer poking around, seeing everything. Stem started, but it's the Aven aren't quite late. This drop is not going to have stem. The army is out of position, though. He's going to poke him with the Reaper. The Reaper is going to get away. Drop is moving in now. We'll see if he gets any damage done. Mothership Core is there for the overcharge if he needs it. Marines drop straight in. How many probes do they get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, doesn't get 6. Overcharge gets that stopped. Dropped. Chases that medevac away. So some good damage there by the Terran. He does actually pull ahead in workers after that with that swing. But altogether, not too bad for our Protoss player. He did get a couple... Actually, no, he didn't actually get anything out of that. The medevac gets away with just some damage. All of the Marines survive. So a good play here by the Terran. Cannons going down defensively in both mineral lines. Maybe a slight overreaction here. But he is going for Dem Colossus. He has the Robobay already finished, starting extended thermal lances. So it looks like our Protoss player is going to go for a 2-base push here against the bio of our Terran. Factory no longer being used. Double upgrades on the way at these engineering bases. And while a Forge is done for a Protoss, he's not using it. So he is going to rely on these Colossi for a 2-base push, it seems. Armory going down nice and early for the Terran. He does want to start that 2-2 soon. Just throw some more SCVs onto the gas. Actually, we do have a third going down for Protoss. Yeah, it's difficult to choose which one. I think this is the regular intended third, but it is very drop vulnerable. So this may in fact be the better choice for the Protoss player. Terran is pushing out. Observer should have seen that. He sees the lack of army now, so he knows that he's got to be somewhere else. Medevac's leading the charge, which is quite dangerous. If they're stalkers, they could be in a lot of trouble. But he will push out here, and he's going to look to do some damage. Probe is going to die before Iron just get taken out by a Mirage Shot. Second probe going to die as well. He stop rallying his things well. With a single Colossus, I think he has enough to beat this. He might lose the Colossus, but he should be able to handle the army. Zealots loaded to buffer a full energy sentry, plenty of force fields to throw down. He wants to defend his nexus here. A third base is starting for the Terran, so he definitely wants to keep that in that economy. Terran pokes the ramp, but he's very scared to go in against the Colossus already out. So it looks like he's going to back off here. May whip back with some drops, but the further he goes away, the less likely that seems to be. Third Colossus on the way for our Terran player. Plenty of sentries and zealots in this army. They're actually fairly even in supply, but the Terran player is pulling away with the upgrades. We have +1 ground weapons on the way for our Protoss. And we're going to have 2-2 started here in a second for our Terran. He's just waiting for the gas for +2 armor. And there it goes. He's going to push out again with his 1-1. Got 2 Vikings on the army, so those Colossus are not quite as scary, but 2 Vikings is not enough to handle what's going to be 3 Colossus here in a second. There's the third. Pushing up the third from the side. Protoss has no observer coverage here, so he may get a snipe on the Nexus. He's going to skim in, and yes, he will get that snipe. Protoss is not there in time. And he will run directly after that. Very good play there by our Terran player. Snipes, retreats. 3 very high energy medevacs, so he'll be able to heal this army very quickly as well. And floating his own third out, our Terran player is sitting pretty. They're fairly even on supplies, but the economy is going to favor the Terran more and more the longer this game goes on. Protoss player has a very healthy probe count, more than enough to saturate 3 bases quite well, but he only has 2. And the Terran player's got a very similar worker count, so he may start transferring some SCVs over to saturate this 3rd, and he's going to reap the benefits of this extra income. Slightly ahead in supply at the moment. He's going to be very ahead in upgrades very shortly. Only +1 ground weapons done for our Protoss. Although Charge and Templar Archives are on the way, so his units are getting their buffs. 2 medevacs go out. Terran player wants to delay our Protoss now. He wants to get his 2-2. May even be banking on 3-3 before making another engagement. 4 Colossi, lots of Zealots and Stalkers. Our Terran is unfortunately fortunately for him, pulling very far ahead in supply. These 2 medevacs have so far gone unscouted. There's no observer coverage on the left side of the base here, so they may get some real damage done. Especially with the Mothership Core so far out of position out here in the middle of the map. He was running that army around. He doesn't want anyone running between the natural and the 3rd. Medevacs are going to chill here for a bit. Single filing is taken out. Probe trying to get stuff done, but does not succeed. The army is going to move in just as the drop moves in as well. Drop is it's going to go straight for the 3rd. It's not even going to go to the natural. We have an engagement. Vikings picking away Colossi. They're going to take out the Mothership Core before it goes on any time warps. Bio getting slaughtered. But not enough. There's enough bio in back. All the Colossi are cleared up, and the gateway on the falls as well. I missed that. I should have been there when that happened. That's a devastating blow for our Protoss here. He went for the kill, and he didn't have enough supply to do it. Double drop lands in the back of his 3rd now. All the probes get destroyed. There's not enough army here to handle it. He's going to lose the 3rd again. Army is too great here for our Terran. And next is going to go down and make his lift up and go into the main after that happens. That's precisely what he does. We'll just drop it right there, out of range. It's a nice little pocket here, so these Zealots aren't going to do much of anything. It does whittle away almost all the Zealots. But he's good. He does lose the medevacs. It stays a little bit too long. So a small blow to his army, but again, the economy for our Terran player is just way ahead. The Protoss economy is wrecked. He's got tons of money to spend. Protoss has a mineral bank, but not enough gas to do much of anything. Not money on the gas isn't the main. Needs to reassign to those. The supply tells the story though. The one engagement that Protoss took against the Terran here was it was not optimal. He was not trading efficiently with the bio. He lost all his Colossi. 4th going down. Desperation. Hopefully it doesn't get scouted, but it doesn't matter. His supply is doubled. He's going to get pushed up this ramp here. There's so many Vikings. These Colossi are going to die. Scan goes down. Vikings are going to take out these Colossi. Bio raids through the army. Cleans up the Archons like they're nothing. GG gets called. Here we go. We are entering the ace match between Google Cardboard and Crowdtap. Score is 2-2. We are in game 5. It's going to be a PVZ here on Secret Spring between DataPlusPlus, the blue Protoss, playing for Google Cardboard, who did in fact play in the previous match, versus Heisenzerg, the red Zerg, playing for Crowdtap. Secret Spring is a fairly new map. As you can see here, it's you have a backside expansion. You have an expansion that's only accessible through a ramp in the main. There's no ground access, no destructible rocks. It's in a nice pocket. So you only have to defend this small ramp here in your main in order to take it. Lots of expectation for Cannon Rush here, although, again, with a backdoor expansion, that is extremely difficult. You would have to sneak your probe through the main to get it done, which is difficult against the lower of Zergs, against a Diamond Zerg who won his match quite handily against Google Cardboard's current player. It is even less likely to occur. Drone going out for an early scout. Rock towers here in the middle, actually. I did not know these existed. That's kind of cool. And Protoss player getting his pylon at the ramp. He's going to start that wall. Probe going around. Looks like he really does not want to be cannon rushed. Make sure that there's no forge going down, no other craziness going down. Zerg player is not getting an early pool. Making up his minerals. We'll see if he goes pool first or hatch first. I would suspect on this map where the natural is so defensible that he actually does. He actually does go pool first, and our Protoss does go gateway first. So despite having the easily taken, easily defensible natural, we are going to see fairly standard one-base openers. No fast expansions from these players. Overlord's moving out. No gas is being taken for our Protoss just yet. Just playing that a little bit. He's going to try to be annoying with this drone. Does want to be careful there. He is going to get ganged up on. He needs a bunch of help. He's going to start taking. Nope. He's going to try to go get a probe again. Quite an annoying little bugger. Sitting there dealing out whatever hits he can. Does bait the probes into another attack and runs away, relying on that regen. Pylon on the back here to delay that natural. So good on our Protoss to get that down. 4 Zerglings moving out. He needs a second Zealot to complete this wall. These Zerglings could prove quite annoying. Drone tries to get a hit on the probe. And yes, as our observer notes, both expansions go down at the same time. _score goes down. Zerglings skirting around, making sure that there's no sneaky probes. Trying to set up proxy pylons, proxy stargates, anything of that nature. Single Zealot blocking the wall here. This may actually be positioned just perfectly enough to deny Zergling access. I'm not sure. Third base going down for our Zerg. Very early third. He will be going right into that macro game. With the third so far from the natural and the main, although this one I guess isn't quite as far. We'll see what our Zerg decides to do. What is his late game plan? What is our Protoss's plan? No tech thrown down yet. More pylons. And not a gateway. Just putting in the back here. Zergling is scouting absolutely everything. He really does not want to be proxy pylon. So our Zerg player is going to be droning up heavily, I think, here. With all of this Zerg scouting, he wants to... he's determined that he's not being rushed with anything. So he will be free to do that droning. Second hatchery done. And just about have enough gas to start Zergling speed here. There it goes. Continues to mine gas. So we may see a relatively early coming out of 6 Zerglings spawning here. A Zealot and a Sentry blocking the wall. 2 gateways up, but they're not producing anything, which means these Overlords are getting nice free scouts of everything Protoss is doing. Information is power in war, and our Zerg has lots of it. Protoss does not. Protoss has... He can't really. Not against Zerg this early in the game. It is very difficult to move out. Gateways getting thrown down. More pylons right under this Overlord. The Overlords know everything. They are... It looks like they're going to start to head out now. Oh, we have a Stargate. We do have a Stargate for our Protoss. Overlord will be seeing that presently. So, if he does go for that Phoenix, or even a Void Ray, both of these Overlords will be dead. But we should see Spores going down. In fact, Spores already gone down in both mineral lines before Phoenix production has even begun. So the Overlords will be forfeit. Looks like they are trying to split up to minimize losses. But his main will be defended quite well. Actually spawns a hallucinating Phoenix as well. Maybe trying to psych his opponent out. Here comes the Phoenix hunting for those Overlords. He sees one. Is he gonna... oh, yeah, there he does. He does return. He's gonna take it out. Hallucinated Phoenix running by. Looks like it will get taken out by the Spore. Queen finishes it off. Speedling is running around, making sure the Protoss is not doing anything he does not want him to be doing. Lair and Roach Warren going down for Aurisor. Zerglings countered something. May have tried to poke up the ramp. Probe is going to sneak out, though there is an Overlord here. So if the Zerg does not want to let this Nexus go up, he will have the ability to deny it. If he chooses to. Zerglings are running over here, but with the Gateway forces moving out, he's not going to be able to deny it. He is getting an early jump on it. He's going to kill the Probe. He's going to focus this down, but the Gateway units are right here, so the Nexus is going to go up. Preemptive force fields going down. Those were not necessarily needed. And he actually doesn't have a lot of sentries, so that may actually cost him in the end. 20 more Zerglings on the way. +1/+1 for Zerg ground. +1 melee, +1 Carabas is about to finish. So he may be trying to rally to this Nexus again. He may be trying to take that army on. Infestation Pit, Burrow. Zerg economy. Zerg is almost up to 60 drones already. But the Protoss is actually keeping up in supply. He's got 50 probes, equally sized army. So he may actually be okay here. The Zerglings are going to run in. The Nexus is just about done. Gateway will have to move out if he wants to defend this. Is he going to cancel? Is he going to be able to hold it? He does have to cancel. He does not get his units there in time. Zerglings move in here and they're going to get a surround. There's no Zealots to buffer for this army. Everything's getting cleaned up. Probes are going to get taken out as well. Goop going down to deny the second Nexus. Very, very well-timed move-in by our Zerg here. He waited as long as possible so that he wouldn't, but still that he wouldn't have to deal with overcharge. And dealing with only a fraction of the army, our Zerg has put himself in a very powerful lead. He's starting +2/+2. He's got Galil Reconstitution on the way. He's starting a Hydralisk Den. He may be going Hive soon. His Infestation Pit is done. It looks like we're going to be seeing after these Zerglings. Zerglings move in for an attack again, but with all these Zealots here, he may not trade so efficiently this time. But with the Protoss going on move on for a bit, he actually takes a lot of unnecessary hits. More Zealots and Stalkers being cleaned up. It looks like with the support of this Void Ray, he will survive. But he loses a bunch more army, and the Zerg is sitting on a superior economy, so he's happy to trade. He's going Hive. He's getting ready to go for that Roach Hydra Viper combo. No missile upgrades though. He is starting. Which one is this? Muscular augments. That's Hydralisk speed. It makes them as fast off of creep as they normally are on creep without the upgrade. Zerglings going to another Nexus here, and they're going to get it. He has to cancel again. Zerglings go for a fight, but they're going to go for a surround again. I don't know if I like this fit. There's a lot of Zealots here. They're going to pick off some Stalkers, but the Zealots ultimately, with that charge, and with 1-1 almost done, they're going to win that fight. 1-1 is going to complete momentarily. Fleet Beacon, more Stargates on the way for our Zerg here. But he's sitting on... He doesn't have a third. The Zerg has been religious about denying his third base, and he's been very successful with it. Another third going down back here. Overlord and Burrowed Zergling denying the third over at this location. More Zerglings will run in. They're going to deny these cannons. The army has to run over there. The Zergling micro from our Zerg player here is doing extremely well. He engages this army, but that's a mistake. He's going to lose a lot for that. Zergling's going to run, and they're going to cancel... Are they? No, they do retreat. But even the small group here, this might be enough. Zealot Warpins, you rally, needs to attack. Is he going to save the Nexus? That's close. He does save it. But while the army's over there, Zerglings run into the main. 15 Hydras on the way, more upgrades for his Hydralisks. Zergling is running into the natural. Our Zerg here is running the Protoss player wagon. He's going to clean up a ton of probes. Cleaning up probes here in the main. The natural gets completely eviscerated. The probes go on attack. Protoss player goes down. 26 probes. Zerglings go after the Nexus in turn. They're not going to get it. The army is here. Phoenix lifting up Zerglings to save it. He will just barely save this Nexus. But his probe count gets destroyed. More probes getting killed by Zerglings over here. Our Protoss is sitting on equal army, but that's just not going to last. +3 melee, +3 Caravase. Adrenal glands on the way for these Zerglings. Hydras and Lings over here going to move in on the third. Army's out of position. He's not going to be able to save this third. It will get taken out instantaneously. Zerglings over here moving in. Do delay the army. Going to give the Hydras the chance to run out. He may actually just engage. Zerglings running in for the surround. Hydras running in. It's a close battle. But the Zealots all get cleaned up. Hydras are going to swarm everything. More Zerglings are swarming on him. Phoenix all get taken out by the Hydralisks. GG. Impeccable play here by Heisenzerg. He will take the series for Crowdtap. 3-2 over Google Cardboard. So congratulations to them. This does put Google Cardboard at a 1-2 record for the series. So we will be moving on further down in the ladder bracket for next week's game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. And we will see you next week.